All right, I am logged in as a teacher currently on our web app. So I am on my computer and I'm going to go through the steps of how do you create and set up a lockdown session and what does a classroom monitoring platform look like? So how do you know when students are actually in lockdown on their devices? How do you know when students try to get out or do certain things like that? So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on My Classes. And these are the classes that I've already created, students have already joined, and I am going to go ahead and create a lockdown session for my Algebra 2 class. So the way I do that is I'm going to click this pink triangle right here to start a lockdown session. So first thing, notice when you go to create a session, you actually will get a unique session code that will be generated for you every single time. So this code is alphanumeric and it's also case sensitive. This code you need to share with your students. You can share it either directly writing it on the board, or if you click this little envelope tab, it will email it to your students where they can then copy and paste it or use it to then join a session on their end. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to get that over to my students. I have one student that is using an Android and I have one student that is using an iPhone. So first things first, you have customized the calculator. So you can decide, okay, I want my students to have access to all of these features, or I want to X out a couple of certain features. So let's say, for example, we're going to X out the trig for this exam. Now you set the timer. So to set the timer, you just click on the buttons below and you can decide how long do you want them to actually be in lockdown for. So let's say that our test is an hour and 15 minutes. Now, after I've set that up, this is my classroom monitoring platform. So you can see up here we have counters. So we have 2 students, which are all of our students that are currently in the class. You can see none have actually joined and 2 are pending. So notice the orange pending corresponds with my 2 students that have orange by each of their profiles. If they are not there for the day or you want to remove them from the session right away, you can just delete them right here. If, for example, you have a new student that day or a student that hasn't joined the class in GraphLock, you can actually add a student by clicking here and entering in just the student's email, and that will join them to this lockdown session for the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to join both on my Android and my iPhone. So for Android, it says screen is pinned. I'm going to select got it. And I have joined there. So you will see it will be reflected on your counter and your platform. And I'm going to do the same thing here now for my iPhone. And then same thing, you will see that both of these will be reflected and it will show you how many students have joined, how many students, are still pending and all those different things. All right, so once it updates here, one thing you can see that 2 students have joined, 2 students in total, no more are pending. So now I need to start the session. So to start the session, I click on this pink triangle here, and that actually starts the session. So notice the green showing that they have joined means these students are in lockdown on their devices. These students will also have a green stripe across the very top of their devices. So looking out at your class, if they have a green stripe across the top of their device and it's green here by their name, you know that they are in lockdown. So a couple things before we show what happens if a student does either make an emergency call or does try to get out. So first thing, let's say you have a student for some reason needs to leave the lockdown session for a bit. You can actually unlock them by clicking right here. So it says, are you sure you want to unlock the student? And okay, let's go ahead and unlock them. So notice it's showing one student has left right now because Mallory, my student here, is unlocked, meaning their device is working as normal. So I'm going to go ahead and rejoin. And then you will see once I've rejoined, it will update again to show it's in green again, green stripe on their device, 2 have joined, and so my counters will all continually work there. So a couple things up here, it still gives you the session code. That way, if you have students that maybe come in late or, different things like that, you have it here. It also keeps track of how much time has passed and how many minutes are left. So the other good thing is you don't actually have to sit here and watch this the whole time. You can be grading, you can be on other windows, because if a student does either make an emergency call or does try to force their way out of lockdown, you will be notified. A noise will happen, this bell up here will shake, and it will turn red by their name. So say for example that Mallory decides, oh, I need to make an emergency call or try to force my way out of lockdown. So once again, your counters are going to update. You will have a noise that will occur, so make sure that your speakers are turned up on your computer. And this bell up here will also shake once they do leave the lockdown session. So there we go. So you can see it turned red, so you know, okay, student, what's going on? Mallory, what are you up to? One has left, and notice this bell is continually shaking. This bell will shake until you click it, and so for you to say, hey, what's going on? Well, let's say Mallory, for some reason, they're done, okay? So they're done with their test, or they want to leave the session, whatever. You simply just click here, and this will actually remove the student from the session. So once they're removed, their phone goes right back to normal. So a couple different ways to end a session. Either this timer will completely run out, and once it does, then everyone's phones, everyone's devices go right back to normal. Or if you have your students done early for the day or whatever, all you have to do is click this end button here, and that'll ask you, are you sure you want to end this lockdown session? Once you click yes, you are good to go. That session is over, and all your students get all their devices right back to normal. So that's how you create a lockdown session, that's how your students join, and that's what your classroom monitoring platform looks like. Remember, you can actually do this from our web app. You can do this on your own phone or on a tablet as well.